Hi, welcome to another video on the Casio CTX 3000 keyboard, and this time I'm going to talk about the auto harmonize / arpeggiator functions, which is the first button on the bottom row on the right hand side of the keyboard. So auto harmonize adds a note to your melody line. So at the moment I'm just playing a single note, but the keyboard can actually help play other notes for you. And the way to do that is to press the accompaniment button on. And now it should say accompaniment on the keyboard. Press the auto harmonize button and it should now say auto harmonize on the keyboard display. And now I'm going to play a chord with my left hand, and then a note with my right hand, and you should be able to hear two notes being generated from this one note that I'm playing here. If I play a different chord, if I play a minor chord, it will generate a different note. It'll pick out notes that will fit with the chords that you're playing in the left hand. Notice I don't need to press the start and stop button here. As long as I'm just generating some notes with my left hand and the accompaniment button is on, then it will auto harmonize the single notes that I'm playing in my right hand. There are 12 types of auto harmonize. So to access those, you hold down the button here, and then it'll show you which one you've got. We're on number 1, and if I use the wheel to go round each one in turn, eventually we get to number 12, and then the list just carries on to number 1 and so on. If I select this one here, octave, you can hear it adds an octave below. So that was like me playing, but the keyboard was adding the lower notes. If we go to some of these other ones, for instance, this one, number 11, block, it will play a whole chord. Sometimes there's a little delay if you haven't pressed the chord cleanly enough or it hasn't received the information. So that's auto harmonize. Now we're going to briefly have a look at the arpeggiator. So in order to access the arpeggiator functions, you need to press the function button and then use your left and right cursor keys to go through the list of menus until it reads AR/ARP. And now press enter, number 6. And the first thing you'll see, it says button assign, number 1. So at the moment this button is assigned to do auto harmonize. We need to change it to arpeggiator, and we can use the wheel here. And now the value here is 2 and it says arpeggiator. So we now know that this button is going to operate the arpeggiator. Let's just exit that. Press exit twice until we get back to our stage piano. I'm going to press the button and then on the display it will say arpeggiator. And it's now creating an arpeggiation according to the note or notes that I play on the keyboard. The speed of it is determined by the tempo, so if we want to increase the tempo, we can just scroll through or type in a number. Let's go up to 100. Now, again, just like with the auto harmonize, there are various types of arpeggiation available to you. And again, just as with auto harmonize, hold down the button and it'll display which setting you've got. There are actually 150. At the moment we're on 014, number 14. But again, I can use the wheel to go through other ones. And then eventually it goes back to 150 if I'm going anti-clockwise, round and round, or if I go in the other way. You'll see all these different types of arpeggiation coming up. This one's called Sequence Line 2, number 15. Notice that it depends on how hard I hit the keys as to how strongly it plays the arpeggio. So that can give you some nice effects. And the other thing to notice is that when I let go of the keys, it stops. You can override that again by going into Function and moving along the list of the menu. Just keep moving along. Just there it says arpeggio hold, which is turned off. So I can turn it on using the wheel. It's now on, so when I play a chord or a note, it just keeps going round on that arpeggio until I play another combination. Let's slow the tempo down a bit. To stop the arpeggio, you've got to press the arpeggio button and not the start and stop button here. It's nice to use this feature, say, with a split keyboard. So if I press the split button, we've got a different voice down here. At the moment it's set to acoustic bass, but we could change that to, say, a string voice. And I'm going to turn the arpeggiator on and play a chord. Notice I can let go. There are several other things to think about and to talk about this feature. In the manual, it doesn't really give you a lot of information, but I'll cover those in another video. But that's just to give you an introduction to the arpeggiator and the auto harmonize. I hope that's been useful.